Welcome everyone, this is Pine Leaf Needles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have a small staff in this holiday weekend. We have Andang
Hey everybody.
and the very exciting Ethelros.
Hey,
Well, alright, maybe excitement is not the right word.
it's never the right
Ever
word.
for a Tharos.
All right, let's go into the game news this week. And the big news is something that almost happened, and that is that Turbine was considering placing level restrictions on consumable reputation items, and apparently the outcry was so great that they changed their mind.
Yeah, they actually did apply it to the game in a hotfix and then decided, nope, not going to do that. And so they said that sometime in the future they're going to come up with a new implementation for this system.
Yes, trying to decide how they were going to handle this situation because apparently a lot of people are just dumping. I got the impression that people are just dumping a ton of rep items onto their low level characters and having them instantly get the
Yes.
kindred.
The way it was explained to me, or that I read, is that with the Beyonding, obviously the intro is a lot shorter, so that you can get a character out of the intro and high enough to get mail in about 10 to 15 minutes.
Right.
So all you have to do is make a character, mail stuff to them, do that short intro, and then you can just complete those early level deeds for reputation, and you end up about 50 turbine points each. And then you end up with like a good few
Oh,
hundred
that's the
very, very
abuse.
fast. Delete, re-roll, and there you go.
And also it
That's why
doesn't
this
help
came out.
because you have extra high level characters that are grinding stuff in the low level areas, causing issues for players that actually want to play the content. And so
Yeah.
it seemed like an issue that not a lot of people knew about, but had apparently become one.
Hmm.
All
People have
right.
been doing this sort of giving, items for stuff for level ults for ages. I've done it. It's just with the Beyonding, it's kind of gotten too far. I think, as they
Hmm.
said, it was being overly abused.
Yep.
Yeah. I think I normally when I would give it to another character, it's when that character was reaching about the level where one would want rep with that particular group.
Hmm.
So not trying to get the turbine points or anything like that, but just trying to finish out the, let's say, the Moria rep. If I was a little bit short and I had some of these extra tokens left from an earlier character or something like that.
Yeah. The turbine points you can get from rep deeds are quite underestimated, I think.
Hmm.
All right then. At least now I know what the reason was that made this into an issue. That I was wondering why are they doing that? Now we know.
Hmm. Honestly, though, I think the thing that I was most interested in is the fact that they managed to do this change without actually bringing the servers down for an update, from what I understand.
Yeah, they said they can do several things like this without bringing down the servers, which is good, I think. And like for example, in other games, I know that in Uncharted 3, for example, the multiplayer there, they could actually move around where weapon drops were and stuff like that without taking down the servers. So if they
Yeah,
program it right, you can do that type of thing without taking down servers.
yeah. I mean, for an MMO, this seems like a really hard thing to do because pretty much any MMO that I've heard of hasn't been able to do it. At least
Yeah.
not to such a very much of a scale.
And they
So if they
haven't
can get
really
this sort of
said
thing,
that they can either.
yeah. So if they can get this sort of thing, maybe more and more stuff they could put on there, that would probably help their tech side at least.
Yeah.
All right. Then the other news on the related to the game is that we are continuing at the Great MMO Face Off. We had the semifinals this week where Lotro was facing off against Eve. And how did we do in the Eve of battle?
The eve of battle. We did great, Pineleaf. We it was almost no contest. We just owned over Eve. Um, After WoW the week before, it didn't feel that challenging. So
Yep.
We did better than Eve apparently, and next week, because Elder Scrolls Online won theirs, we're gonna be going against Elder Scrolls. So that'll be an
Mm.
interesting one, because this will be the first time that the new MMOs face off against the old, so we don't know how it'll turn out yet. So be sure to go out and vote for the one you think should get it this next week.
Should also mention that they are having a battle for third place between Eve and the Secret World.
That's interesting.
Ah.
So there's
So
a
see who
losers
gets the bronze
bracket.
medal.
So there's a losers bracket, is what you're saying, and winners bracket.
Yeah. They usually have
It's
those
a
sort of
bronze
things.
medal
These sort
match.
of, yeah.
All right, let's go into our store sales then. And this week, our free sample of the week from December 21st, 4th to January 1st, are Maximum Route and Power Scrolls times 1. Use coupon code MMP76, 1 per account. And I would say, of course, since you get only 1 per account, to use it wisely, but let's face it, it's not exactly the most impressive free sample you've ever had. And this week's sale, well, let's just say Dracula gave it the old thumbs down because it's a legendary sale. And you know how he feels about legendary sales. We have 25% off of legendary slot unlocks, legendary tier upgrades, legacies, scrolls of combination, relic removal scrolls, and universal solvents. And our final December weekend special includes 35% off relics, 35% off Gift of the Valar, and 25% off Quest Pack Central Gondor. So stuff related to Update 15. At least the last two are. Well, I know Gift of the Valor isn't technically part of Update 15, but I know that some people bought it in order to get their Bjornings up faster. All right, any comments about the sale?
It's crap. Don't use it.
Well,
That's for
okay.
Drac, and it's also for me.
Okay, that's very well. Yeah, it's not the most exciting sale that we have had recently. So let's go into the site news, and we'll begin with the 1550 Turbine Point Code giveaway ending. I hope you know something about this.
I do, Pine Leaf. At least I hope I do, because I set it up. So we are doing a 1550 Turbine Point Code giveaway. This is the $20 one that you can get from the LOTRO market. And it's because thanks to our supporters on Patreon, we reached a goal to do this giveaway. And all you have to do is leave a comment below in the article, as usual.
We seem to have quite a number of comments already here.
Yep, already up to 217, but there's always a chance, and all you have to do is just leave a comment, so it takes hardly any time at all.
All right, very well. And next we have the question of the poll of what is your least favorite system in LOTRO?
Yes, so before we go into this, I would like to preface it with some people did get confused and thought it was their favorite system
Yes,
when
I
they
saw at
voted.
least one person post that,
Mm-hmm.
which
And
probably explains the 11 votes for a certain one.
Maybe.
yeah, maybe skirmishes got that to happen, Pine Leaf. I don't know.
No, I was thinking of cosmetics
Oh,
when I
well,
was
there's
saying
that
that.
too.
Because cosmetics, I know at least one of those was. I know there are people out there who, for some reason, don't like skirmishes.
Yep, I've heard one or two.
Yes,
But the winner was Mounted Combat
if
with
you could call
48
that winner.
votes.
I was actually surprised to see that.
And I was as well, and thought it might be because people thought it was their favorite, but in the comments and according to Twitter, people don't like the mounted combat system that much just because of the amount of lag it's added to the game in general, and because of how laggy the system is itself, and because of the cost of some of the cosmetics with the war steeds and all that stuff. And second was fishing, which surprised me.
Yeah, I thought that fishing is more of a meh system than anything else.
Yeah, some people really do like it, but it doesn't surprise me that some people think that that's not their favorite system. There's not that much to it. Um, Although some would argue that there's a lot to it. But I think it's how much you add to the system that's in the game. I don't think there's that much in the actual system that's there.
That might be why they voted for it, though. The fact that there is nothing new, and they might actually want it to be something.
Yeah.
Lack of potential.
And Epic Battles came in third with 36 votes, which is not that surprising to very many people. I don't think that it made it fairly high.
The
And
only surprise is that it was beat out by fishing.
that and the fact that Legendary Items was not higher than, than Epic Battles. But I think because Epic Battles are so new, people have had a chance to get used to Legendary Items and can kind of ignore them. With Epic Battles, if you're wanting to do the epic story, you have to do them. And I think that that might be the difference. Then Essences, which is still don't understand why that's a system or what it's doing in the game. But anyway, and then Skirmishes with 13 votes, Music with 13 votes as well.
Who
It's
could vote
tied finally.
against music?
People who hate music.
People who hate
Okay,
bagpipes.
maybe some people voted for it because of what happened in Update 15 to the music system, but I can't think of. Okay, maybe they don't like hearing role players going and playing music outside. Yeah,
Minstrels in
I
general.
was performing at a concert today, so therefore.
I know a lot of people who are annoyed by minstrels in general, so
Oh well.
that could
Or
be
they
it.
just hate the Pipgorn.
And the Pipgorn. And then in last place, which is actually good, I guess, with this poll, comes Cosmetics with 11 votes, 5% of the vote.
Right, and I think 11 is probably more than it was really wanted by some of the people because I know at least one person voted for it because he thought they wanted the favorite system instead.
Yep, but I'm guessing probably one of these each had somebody doing that to some extent, so.
Yeah.
But there you go. Those are the least favorite systems in LOTRO from first to last.
All right. Did either you have any particular one you voted for?
Well, I was thinking Epic Battles, but I can definitely see the mounted combat argument. I think I still have to stick with Epic Battles, though, as my least favorite.
I don't think I need to elaborate on what mine is.
Allies is definitely my second.
Yeah.
Mine
Right.
will always be legendary items because they suck.
All right. And mine was
general.
Epic Battles. All right. Let's go into Lotrification. Middle Earth's meeting and seasons. Oh, boy. It's been a long day, right? All right. Lotrification, Middle Earth's meetings and seasons greetings. What is this all about?
Pine Leaf Tongue Twister.
Let's see.
This is continuing what Zinger does best, and it's images that have funny one-liners, essentially. All fairly holiday related, and it's really, really funny. I recommend everybody read through it, especially if you're a fan of Zingers, which hopefully everyone is. Also, I would like to point out, I recently got the red painted steed Draculetta, and it's featured in this article as well. So just like to point that out.
What? It's featured in this article. What, your red painted steed is featured in this article?
No, but there is a red painted steed.
Ah, a red painted steed. Now, my question is, are those tribbles in front of Lalia?
I don't know.
I tried to, I'm trying to figure out.
I thought it was Cole, but
Oh, oh, Cole. Okay, that makes sense then.
makes a
Yes,
little
of
bit more
course it's
sense.
Cole for her. Yes, I was wondering because I was wondering, where's all these things coming from? Are they multiplying or something?
But
All right, but
I think
Cole,
she should start accepting coal as a valid trading item at that store.
instead of Nithril.
Yeah. Although I guess coal's probably harder to find in Lotro.
Well, you just go to a vendor.
Oh, well, I don't craft that much, so I wouldn't know.
All right, let's go to Volume 2. Someone actually went and fully voiced Volume 2 in Lotro. I mean, other than me, I guess because I had done it also, but someone else apparently has also done it recently. And who is that?
Who would do such a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did go through and voice all of Volume 2. and it took a lot, especially since I was doing just the epic. I hadn't realized just how much travel there is in Volume 2. It is an obscene amount. It's way more than Volume 1. I cut out a ton more. I have logs to prove it. I cut out a ton more in Volume 2 than I did Volume 1 of just traveling. Some episodes were they would have been 2-hour episodes if I hadn't cut out the travel to take them down to 20-minute episodes. So, I mean, it's a ridiculous the amount of, especially going back and forth between the same two NPCs happens much more in Volume 2. And just the general lack of swift travels in Moria makes it take a long time as well. So,
Yeah,
um,
the swift travel areas are rather strange where it isn't until you get to the latter parts of Moria where they finally give you some swift travel, but in the early parts it's slow, slow. Red Horn loads to 21st Hall.
um, I do think though that when the party departs Rivendell, that's one of the best moments in Lotro. It's just absolutely fantastic, especially the dialogue between the Fellowship. They just did such a perfect job on, and also the conclusion to Volume 2 is really good as well. There's a lot of unexpected turns that happen throughout. So anyway,
All
I
right.
fully voiced it, and it was a lot of fun, but also a lot of travel.
Does that mean there's going to be a volume 3?
There is. I have a goal for it right now on Patreon, on my Patreon.
All right then. And you better watch out because there's another video highlight coming. Ending, what's this week's?
This week's video highlight is A Christmas Tale. And what this is, well, it's fairly hard to explain, but what this is a lot of dancing to one of the famous Christmas songs. And it's just a lot of fun and really funny and definitely gets you in the holiday mood, which is great now that the holiday's over, now that Christmas is over. So, um, but seriously though, it's the best Christmas Lotro video that I've found, and there are a lot of Christmas Lotro videos, believe it or not.
There
And
are.
this I think is the best. They did such a great job of adapting the song to Lotro, and also making people ice skate.
Well, yeah, that's quite a trick in doing, seeing that I don't recall anyone being able to ice skate. Now, I do know that you do have the skaters up in Forhell, but I don't think players can strap the skates to their feet and start skating.
Probably not.
All right. Then let's go on to our last week's Lotro Players Adventures, where we tended to visit and revisit the sawmill.
Yep, we had a time in no, I can't even think of what the zone is called.
The Limelight Gorge.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun going through the Limelight Gorge, um, doing the group stuff there. I hadn't ever done that with a group. I did it solo on my champion, but it was a lot of fun to do it a little bit below level for me anyway. But it was a lot of fun to go through there, more how it was intended. So I really enjoyed that.
All right, very well. Then let's go into the family line part 24, Tim Hedden. Now, if you were waiting until you were sure that it was complete before starting to read this, because I know sometimes that some people just don't like reading things that they're not too sure that it's going to end eventually, because writers have been sometimes been known to drop off before finishing something. If you're worried about that, you worry no more, for the Family Line final episode has been posted, part 24, an ending too soon.
Now, I'm not going to spoil the ending, but is Andrang just another way of saying Andang in a roundabout way? Because if so, I have mixed feelings about the ending to this story.
Andrag is a ranger from the Divine Law.
Yeah, I know he is, but Who knows?
All right.
In all
Well,
seriousness, though, this is a really awesome series, and I'm sad to see it end. I hope that whatever he comes up with next will be even better because this was just a fantastic series, and can't wait to see what comes next.
all right, very well. And that concludes our site news. So let's head into news beyond Lotro. And the big news this week is that Lotro's senior world builder is going to appear and speak at Mythmoot 3, which is scheduled for not this weekend, but 2 weeks from when we are recording this. That will be on January 10th and 11th. And dang, you broke out this story. So what do you think about it?
Well, I think it's great. I'm really glad to see Chris Pearson actually coming to speak at just a convention. That's awesome. He's actually, like we said earlier, the senior world builder, and he has the final say on everything that goes in the game. So, and he also does a lot of the concepting. He works directly with the concept artists. He has notes upon notes upon notes about what's supposed to be in each area, and he just does a ton of research. He's actually was a professional writer before he started working at Turbine, and he has all that knowledge to keep. He knows how to keep lore straight because he was doing fantasy writing himself. And so he is the perfect person, I think, for world building, and it will be fantastic to hear him talking about how they build the world of Lotro and how that relates to Tolkien and a lot of the other concepts and things that they'll be talking about at Mythmoot. So I am very, very sad that I'm going to be starting college the next day after this, so I can't go because this sounds like an amazing thing. I would be there in a heartbeat if I had a choice.
All right, very well then.
Also, though, Pine Leaf's going to be at Mythmoot 3, everyone. I confirmed it before the show. And if you have not yet signed up for Mythmoot, registration is still open. Um, you can go. There's a link in the show notes to this Lotro Senior World Builder article, and there's a link in the article that takes you to the Mythmoot page, and right at the top there's a Register Now button. If you're in the area and can go to this and want to meet Pineleaf in person, this is your chance. So, with that out of the way, Pineleaf, do you have anything else to say?
No, it's just that I do expect to be there, and I look forward to hearing the talk from from our lore monkey, so that we will know what is going on, and maybe he might be allowed to, let's say, make an announcement or two. Well, it might come after the senior's letter,
And
the producer's letter anyway, so maybe he might have some information for us.
and Pineleaf, I believe that you said earlier that you're planning to write an article on this or something like that. Um,
I,
once you get
I,
back.
I think I think that term wasn't that first said about 2 seconds ago? I'll see if I can get something written up.
All right, well, I'm looking forward to it. I cannot believe that they got him for Mythmoot in just their third year, and can't wait to see what comes of it.
All right, we shall see. And that is it for our news beyond Lotro. So let us head into donations. We did not receive any Patreon mentions, but we would love your support. To help support Lotro players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you will find rewards including a mention on the podcast of your choice or even a guest spot for an episode of Lotro Players News or Adventures. As for feedback, we do not have any iTunes reviews, but we do have a featured comment. Brandhild commented on last week's show, "Thank you for the episodes. My co-workers Must wonder why I laugh early in the week. And Zinger left a comment on Family Line Part 24. Ethros, could you please read this?
Um, here you go. It was by Zinger, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was an ending. Great work on this series. Sorry to see it go out with such a bang, or should I say, thwip. Spoilers, but time to bust out the alternate endings, like where he decides to visit Breland, goes on a journey with Lalia, and spends the next 50 parts trying to escort her just out the gates of Breetown. Got plans for any other? Got plans for another series?
Uh, well, we did not receive any emails, but you could send us one by emailing us at podcasts@lotroplayers.com. You can also follow us at Twitter. You can follow the Players Alliance at Players Ally. You can follow Lotro Players at Lotro Players, Anding at PVMP_Anding, Braxwolf at Braxwolf, Sithrith at Sithrith, Draculetta at Draculetta_72, Ethoros at Ethoros, Lily Kate at Lily Kate Buggins, Mystery at Mystery XOX, and Pineleaf at Pineleaf Needles. The Players Alliance has 3 live shows every week. On Mondays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. On Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Guild Wars Players News, and on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News. And you could join us for the live shows at lotroplayers.com/live. And you could join us on Langeville for LOTRO Players Adventures each Saturday at 5 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and that is all for tonight. This is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.